Doctor Who Grudge Match. Genesis of the Daleks vs Destiny of the Daleks. It's time for a grudge match, the series that pits one aspect of Doctor Who against another aspect of Doctor Who. This time around, it's the two Tom Baker Dalek stories going head to head, Genesis of the Daleks vs Destiny of the Daleks. In the red corner is Genesis of the Daleks, the six-part story from season 12 in 1975 that has been declared the best Doctor Who story ever made on numerous occasions. In the blue corner, there's Destiny of the Daleks, the 1979 season 17 story that has come in for strong criticism from some of the duller corners of Doctor Who fandom. No, not quite that dull. But this is my video, and my grudge match, so which is best? Genesis of the Daleks sees the Doctor, Sarah and Harry sent by the Time Lords to the Dalek homeworld of Skaro, just as their evil creator, Davros, is on the verge of activating his notorious creation for the very first time, ordered to try to put a stop to it altogether or at least change their evolution for the better. It's a killer premise, and it's our Tom, so what could go wrong? Well, for many fans, not much, but to be perfectly honest, I've never been big on Genesis of the Daleks. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to do a revisionist hatchet job on it declaring it to be the worst thing ever, but I've just never thought it lived up to the hype, frankly. It's too long, for one thing, failing to justify 6 episodes. It's also rather dour and humorless, which for a Williams-era fan like me makes it a bit of a slog. Dour and humorless can work providing there's enough tension, action and drive to prevent dullness, but Genesis doesn't really pull it off in my opinion. Yes, Michael Wisher is great as Davros, and yes, Peter Miles is great as Nyder, and there are some good scenes and moments, with Sarah's desperate escape up the rocket at the end of part 2, marvelous stuff. But it doesn't justify 2.5 hours, and at risk of a fatwa, it doesn't justify the adulation it gets. I give Genesis of the Daleks a not terrible but fairly average, C+. Destiny of the Daleks sees the Doctor and Romana land on Skaro, to find the Daleks digging up their creator in a bid to gain an advantage against the Movlans, an alien race with which they are at war and aren't actually doing too well against. Destiny has been criticized for many things, most of which are fairly flimsy and apply to almost any story, wobbly Daleks etc. It also gets criticism for the Romana regeneration scene, which is, I'm sorry, fucking hilarious and fuck anyone who says otherwise. The direction also gets criticized, which is a tad odd as the studio scenes are workmanlike enough and the location scenes are actually really well directed, so one really wonders if the people complaining even have the vaguest idea of what the fuck they're talking about. I suspect not. However, before you think I'm declaring Destiny of the Daleks to be a forgotten classic, I'm kind of not really. It's better than its reputation in some corners of fandom, that's for absolute certain, but that doesn't necessarily make it great. I love and adore season 17 as a whole, possibly my favorite season ever and without a doubt in the top 3 or 4, and no series 11 is not in the other 2 or 3 lols, but Destiny is actually probably my least favorite of the season. On the plus side, it has Tom at his season 17 barking mad brilliant best, effortlessly dominating every scene he's in. It also has the gloriousness that is Lalla Ward making her debut appearance as the new incarnation of Romana, and she's lovely and wonderful of course, though she has less to do here than in almost any other story, and that bit where she gets a bit teary during the Dalek interrogation is a bit out of character, it has to be said. The biggest problems in Destiny are the lack of music and the pacing. While the atmospheric sounds are, atmospheric, the lack of music makes it feel rather staid and plodding, particularly in the last episode where events just seem to sort of come to an end rather than reach a big climax. Destiny is, therefore, a bit of a mixed bag for me. It certainly isn't my least favorite Tom and Lalla story. That's the kill me now this is dull the leisure hive, and it isn't close to being my least favorite classic series Dalek story either. Hello Planet, Death and Resurrection? but I don't rapturously love it like I wish I could. All things being equal, the good things outweigh the bad, and are just about enough to drag Destiny of the Daleks to an okayish B-. The winner of this week's grudge match, by a nose, is Destiny of the Daleks. And if you complain, I will sentence you to watching Series 11 on an endless loop for all eternity. Oh, the humanity.